Hello and welcome to your session today. And today we're talking all about pelvic floor. Now, when I say pelvic floor, people immediately think women and necessarily pregnant people or people that have just had babies. But it applies to everybody. So I feel like if you can fit this into your routine, just being on top of your pelvic floor health, then you are onto a big winner. It's slow. The movements are intentional. You keep it, you're thinking about what you're doing. So don't expect to be like feeling a burn or anything like that. You have no idea the impact you will be making on the inside of your body. So just a little recap before we get going. I just want to talk about what I'm going to be talking about in today's session. Sit bones. They are the bony bits. When you hinge forward, you can almost feel them bony bits underneath your bottom. We're going to be talking a lot about your sit bones. And what your sit bones are, it's where your diaphragm, so you have like the front of your diaphragm and then your back of the diaphragm. And it's where them 2 points meet. That is where your sit bones is. So you'll hear me a lot about the separating of your sit bones, really encouraging that opening up and closing, okay? So that is what we're going to talk about there today. You also hear me talk about the pelvic wall, which is where it's made up of two muscles, which work with the extension and flexion and like externally rotating your hip when it's in that hip flexion and extension. So you'll hear me moving a lot of our legs because again, that's going to help with that pelvic wall. And lastly, I just want to mention, because I feel like it's important, everyone sort of harps on about contracting their pelvic floor and lifting it up, but people can have issues with the relaxing of their pelvic floor. So we're going to be thinking a lot about contracting and releasing because you can have a dysfunction in either of them. So that's what we're going to work with. So we're going to start up standing and we're going to get straight into it. Good. Okay, so standing up, we're going to start by bringing our feet about so shoulder width apart for me, knees nice and soft. Hands are going to come to our front of our hips like so. And I'm going to just turn to the side. And we're going to start with some pelvic tilts. So from here, I want you to rock your pelvis forward. So it's like you're tucking your bum under. It's not a squeeze. You're pulling your abdominals up to almost bring your hips forward. And then you're going to release and just flick the bottom out. And again, so just rocking your pelvis forwards and backwards. And what you're doing here is you're not thrusting your hips forward and squeezing your glutes really tightly. What pulls your hips forwards is your abdominals. You're lifting up your abdominals to almost draw them hips forward. And you should feel more into them abdominals when you're doing this rather than just relying on your bum to squeeze forward. So you really need to think about that lifting sensation, that drawing up, lifting through them abdominals and then push back through. We're going to do 4 more here. Lifting up. Some of you might want to use a wall if you find it quite tough, and you can just make sure that the back stays in contact and you're just rocking through that motion. Get 2 more and release. Last one. And into neutral. Perfect. Hands still onto your hips. I'm going to rise my right heel up. Right heel's lifted. Obviously these trousers are super long, but we're just going to keep that right heel lifted and we're going to lift our hips up and down. Good. Up and down you go. So it's like you're hitching your hip up and then lowering it back down. Really nice. Your breath is nice and controlled. Lifting and relaxing. Really think about drawing up, like you're stopping yourself from going for a wee, and then just relax it. You need to get comfortable with relaxing your pelvic floor. It works. It's all about pressure, okay? So you need to get into the habit of, yes, you pull up, but you need to relax, okay? For 4 and down. Simple movements, but boy, do they work. 3. Last 2. And then your final one, pull that hip down and you're going to switch to the other leg. Up and down you go. Really lifting up through the hip. Think about your abdominals, drawing it up. You're not just dragging that hip up, you're using them obliques. This whole section, they all move together. The diaphragm, it lifts up with your breath, it goes down with your breath, and then it comes back up. So you need to think about integrating this whole part of your body. Last 2. And make this your last one. Lift, lift, lift and relax. Perfect. We're going to take our legs a little bit wider into a plie squat. We're going to, as we go down, I want you to open out. Think about them sit bones now. opening out. Now, as you draw up, think about them sit bones lifting up. And I want you to imagine you're almost picking something up with that pelvic floor. I know that seems a bit odd, but hopefully that should help you with your imagery. Lifting up, pulling up. Maybe if you want to imagine you're stopping yourself from going for a wee. But make sure you relax as you come down. Think about it. Lift and relax. Feel like it's been drilled into people too much that they need to just grip and hold. You need to learn to let go. You need to train your pelvic floor, because then otherwise it just doesn't know how to cope when you want to relax it. Okay, and again, 3 more. Reach, sit bones open, pull, lift. And for 2. And drawing it up, perfect. Last one for me, reaching out, sit deeper. Now think about lifting up through that pelvic floor. Draw, 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 all the way up, perfect. Turning your toes to the front, and we're just gonna shift our weight from side to side. Again, really, it likes that shifting. So that's why walking is fantastic for your pelvic floor. It's a natural body movement. It happens, your pelvic floor anyway, like the function of it. But walking and movement and breathing is all brilliant in helping it staying nice and strong and healthy. Good. So any sort of like changing direction, walking, shifting is fantastic for it. But just be aware that you're lifting and relaxing. 3 more. And over. Like I said, it's not a challenging class. This is more about functionality. Is that the right word? And improving your overall health. It's not just all about aesthetics. 2. And make this your last one. Coming back into the center and rise up. Brilliant. Walking your feet in towards you. Perfect. I'm going to roll down to the end to a 4-point kneel. So reaching my arms up, I'm going to lift up out the hips, and I'm going to dive all the way down, rounding my spine as I walk out into that 4-point kneel position and hold. From here, I want you to uncurl your toes. And I want you to lift up into that big cat stretch. And as you're doing this, feel that pelvic floor lift up as if you're squeezing something between your legs and lifting it up nice and tall. And then I want you to almost lower it down into the floor. And as you do this, think about them sit bones widening as much as you can so you feel your glutes fully opening. And then as you tuck under, pull them sit bones together. Really lift up through that pelvic floor like an elevator. Tucking under and then relaxing. Let the sit bones part, opening out as your head reaches forward. And again, just a few more here. Really feel that pelvic floor lift, 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 lift as you come up. And then think about them sit bones spreading out as you extend. Brilliant. Let's just do one more. Lift, pull that pelvic floor, instigate the movement from there. Lift. And then relax all the way. Reaching, parting them sit bones for me. Head reaches long as you find your neutral position. You're going to curl your right toe under. And from here, you're going to lift your right knee up and then lower your right knee down. So you're hitching your hip again, up and down. Not a huge movement, but you're just pulling that hip up and then relaxing it back down into level out with that left leg. And again for 4. Make sure your head hasn't dropped. Don't forget the alignment. 3. And again, lift up, pull, 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 and relax. 2 more. Using them abdominals to lift. Last one for me. And then relaxing back down. From here, you're going to lift your toes away. And I just want you to spin that bottom part of your leg back and forth. Really rotating, like what I said about the rotating of the hip. This is where it comes into play with that pelvic wall. And again for 2. Be aware of that center. And last one for me. Taking that right leg out to the side for me, like so. I'm going to come this way so you can see. That right leg is now out, and all you're going to do is shift your weight forwards and backwards for me. Rocking, that right leg is out to the side, but your body weight is rocking forwards and backwards. Really nice. And for 4. Brilliant. Final 3 here. Really sitting back into it. And again, taking it nice and slow, thinking about them sit bones opening out as you hinge your bottom back. Last 2. And then coming back into that neutral position for me. Turn your toes up to the ceiling and then back down. And again, so we're just externally rotating at that hip, helping with that pelvic wall. 2 more. And last one. Back in. I want you to glide that foot in and then just take it out to the side into a bit of a diagonal position like so. And we're just going to rock forwards and then come back. Again, really nice sitting into it. Feel the opening, but as you come up, pull that pelvic floor in. And I want you to think about really drawing down this right hip so it's staying nice and settled in. Not too many here. 3. And final 2, hinging, pull your pelvic floor up and release. And in you come nice and slowly. Perfect. Taking that leg back. We're now going to go into that other leg for me. So curl the toes under of your left foot. And I just want you to hitch that hip up. Up again, hip hitches. Really good for this pelvic floor health. You can see what I mean by you almost feel like you're not doing anything, but this is where you need to really dig deep with your body. Whoops. Think about what you want to do, how you want it to work. You have to really, really get into that body. I cannot express that enough. And final 2, lift. Use them abdominals. Last one, lift. Now keep that knee down on the floor. You're going to lift the bottom part of the leg away and you're just going to spin that hip, the bottom part of the leg out and in. So we're really rotating into that hip. My body stays completely centered, but I'm really trying to pull that leg round as much as I can with my abdominals to get that rotation. Good. 2 more. And then final one for me, taking that leg out to the side as we rock our body weight forwards and backwards. I'm going to come to the front so you can see me like this. Forwards and backwards. Again, really sit into it and then drive. Be aware of that engagement into your center. Remember the whole body is connecting. And again. So the pelvic floor, like with movement and pressure, it strengthens anyway, but these exercises will really help you just to put a bit more time into it and strengthen it a little bit more. And again, last one. And back to neutral. Let's turn the toes up and down. If you can, just really trying to open up that hip a bit more. For 2 and 1. Brilliant. Sliding that leg in as we go into that diagonal. We're going to hinge over into that position, opening up into them sit bones and then pull them back in. Focus on this left hip drawing down. So I don't want to see this lifting up. I want you to really try and level out your pelvis for me. All that's opening and then you draw back in. 4 more. Over you go. Really sitting into it. Lifting up. Final 3. This mat's a bit thin. Doesn't like it on my knee today. 2. It's funny, isn't it, how some days it's just like, doesn't like it. Last one. And in. Brilliant. Coming in, sit back into that rest pose position. Really nice. Rolling yourself up, we're going to come all the way onto our bottoms and we're going to make our way down into our mats nice and slowly all the way down. Perfect. Not too much longer here, but we're going to come into a bridge sequence. Starting small, we're just going to roll our spines up into that bridge. So you can start small actually. Let's take a moment. Hands to your hips and let's do them pelvic tilts that we did standing. Rock your pelvis forwards and backwards. Think about pulling your hips up, using your abdominals and not just squeezing your glutes. Exaggerate the movements. Coming into neutral on your next one, arms down by your side, pushing into the ground. Curl up your spine and feel each vertebrae melt away as you come up into this bridge position. From here you hold, and then I want you to slowly melt that spine all the way back down into your mat, releasing down. And again, imagine them sit bones drawing together for me, reaching up nice and tall. And then as you lower down, feel how the spine melts and them sit bones start to part as you fully untuck your hips, lowering down into your mat. 2 more. Obviously, if this feels nice, you can continue with this for longer. Pause the video. It's the beauty of it all being on demand, so you can literally stop it and just work where it feels right for you. But on your next one, we're going to stay up there and hold it up there. Good. We're going to alternate your heel lifts. So just lift one heel up and then the other. Switching. Pelvis is level for the time being, and if you want to add intensity, switch the heels in the air. Really nice. For 4, focus on your breath, lifting up and releasing. 2. Last one for me. Both heels up, and then I want you to lower both heels, keeping your hips up. But we're going to dip our hips from side to side. So we're just going to drop one hip down, lift it up, and then the other one dips. So it's like a bit of a sway. Not a sway, just like a drop, sorry. A drop hip, up and down. For 5, continue with that breathing. 4. Such good exercises. I'm going to eventually start bringing in equipment to do pelvic floor classes, but at the moment, just your body weight. For people that don't have the equipment, this is a good one to start with. Last one. Level out your pelvis and then roll your spine all the way down into your mats. Brilliant. Bring your feet a little bit closer, so about cheekbone size apart. Curl up into your bridge again for me, holding up at the top. We're now going to snake our hips. So you're going to sway your hips side to side as you lower down into your mat and then sway back up. Sway from side to side, switch for 3, 2, 1, up at the top and down you go, sway. Sway them hips, baby, round to side, and then you lower down and up you go again. Final time, swish. So it's like you're like brushing the floor with your hips, side to side, up to the top, and then down you go, sway. Brilliant. Fantastic. Lowering all the way down, I want you to bring one leg into a tabletop position, and then I want you to tap that leg down to the floor and then pull back. Now this level is enough for people that are recovering, say from surgery, or just have had a baby or something. You might want to stay at this level. Just tapping up and down, making sure that your back's not arching and you're literally opening out the hip and then pulling back. Anyone that wants to take it further, you can alternate with double legs lifted and switch like this. But single leggers, if you were starting with that right leg, I now want you to switch to your left leg for me. We're controlling the movement. And in for 5, opening up out in that hip. Good. 4, 3, last 2. And making this your final one for me. And in, lower both feet down onto your mat, feet by your bottom. You're going to take your arms out to the side. You're going to open out one hip to the side, keep the other knee to the ceiling, pull back to the ceiling, and then switch. So the arms out to the side just adds a bit more stability and gets us ready for our next movement. Brilliant. Opening it out to the side and in. Make sure you're pulling the leg back using your abdominals. And from here, I want you to, if you can, bring both legs to tabletop and then do the movement, opening out the hip. But people that are recovering, then you keep with both feet down on the floor, okay? This is your progression. You come here if you can. 2 more. Use your abdominals. Last one. Legs together, either on your mat or tabletop, and we're going to let the legs go from one side to the other. So you are now taking double legs over. People with their feet on the bottom, on the floor, this is where you're going to be. And your head is going to look in the opposite direction. So you're really using that twist, finding them obliques. Remember, the whole body is moving, helping this pelvic floor. And again. For 2. Last one for me. Coming back into center, lower one leg down at a time, arms down by your side. Finishing off with some leg slides. We're going to draw one leg out and then pull it back in and switch, reaching your legs and draw back in. Now this is your first level, really good for anyone. Like I said, I can't say it again because I feel like a broken record, but this is your base level. Use your abdominals to pull that leg in. Anyone that can take it further, single legs out and in. Again, still not too taxing, but just adds that little bit more challenge. That's something you can progress to. But this isn't a big exercise in the sense that I want you to burn, really sort of struggle through it. I want you to think about what you're doing, where you're working from, lifting through that pelvic floor. For 3, really good, everybody. Drawing out, make sure you're connected into your center. Last 2. And then your final one, coming back in. Lower one leg down at a time. You're going to reach your arms nice and long, full body stretch. And then you're slowly just going to bring your legs into a diamond shape. Soles of your feet together, hands by your rib cage. And I want you to lay here and I just want you to think about lifting up through your pelvic floor. So as you lift, imagine you're pulling up and then relax. 2 more. Like you're stopping yourself from going for a wee. And relax. Last one. And relax. Pull the legs together and repeat that again for 3 more times. Squeeze, lift that pelvic floor. And relax it. And again for me. Brilliant. Reaching your arms and legs away for me. Give me a big curl up all the way. Reach the spine forward. And then lifting it up to relax. Well done, everybody. So what I would suggest is to check how to engage my abdominals on the how-to videos and also the pelvic floor one, just to explain a little bit more about how the pelvic floor works. But hopefully that's given you some exercises to work with and really strengthen your pelvic floors. Well done.